It has been almost 1 year. Today is around mid-August and I got this thing pretty much at launch, iPhone 16 Pro. And I wanted to make a review video now that it has been a year. I'll start off by saying this has been probably the best phone I've ever had in my life. The previous iPhone I've had is the iPhone 13 Pro, and this one is a huge difference compared to the iPhone 13 Pro in my opinion. And it's mainly because of two things. Number one, I already at the time was trying to make vlogs in Japan by using my Sony ZV-E1, and I was taking it everywhere with me, just recording myself in nice places in Japan and everything, but I always had to carry something extra that was somewhat heavy because of the lens. You know, camera body plus lens combination. So I found that very annoying. So when the iPhone 16 Pro was launched and they were talking about Apple Log and all that stuff, 15 Pro also had it, but 16 Pro at the time was like newer and I was more aware of the 16 Pro, and 15 was a little too close to 13 to justify buying it. But 3 years of a difference for 13 Pro and 16 Pro, so I was like, okay, why not go for it, Usually I get a new phone every 5 years, I'd say. So, because I had the iPhone 8 before 13. I did a little bit of an early buy for the 16 Pro because I was just like, I want to test it. I want to see if it can replace basically vlogging for me. Replace my ZV-E1 as my vlogging camera. And it basically has at this point, and I feel like it does a really, really good job at it. You can see that I'm using a selfie stick right now, and this is like a newer selfie stick that I bought. Not the brand, just Ulanzi is the brand. There's a brand called Newer, so I don't want to confuse you, but I like this a lot because I can basically, carry this in my backpack really easily. I have a very small backpack, and set it up really quickly, and boom, I now have a tripod that works pretty much anywhere. Like, it's not a bulky tripod that I have to carry around that takes up a lot of extra weight and everything. And yeah, I can set it up, move it around super fast, and there's like the image, right? I can capture wherever I go in Japan, have multiple angles of me doing things. Right now, I am currently using the Blackmagic camera app to capture this. Usually I actually use the native camera app, and the Blackmagic camera app definitely has, differences between the native camera app, but I mainly use it for H.265, so then there's smaller file sizes. But as you can see, when I do zoom stuff, it like cuts instead of, jumping, instead of like zooming in and out. I really like the zoom in and out effect of the native camera app, but I guess, people who record with the Blackmagic camera app, they're probably doing it for more like professional shots, I guess. So most of the time you're not like zooming between the cameras. But the three cameras are really, really nice. I've used all of them quite a bit. And now that there's a new app called, or I don't know how new it is, but I heard of it from MKBHD. It's called the Project Indigo by Adobe. I've been using that lately for photography, for my photos, and it looks really good, like especially at nighttime. And I've been utilizing x5, which is, the telephoto camera, which switched from, I think it used to be like 85 millimeters on the iPhone 13 Pro, but they switched it to 120. And at first I had to get a little used to it. But after I got used to it, I was like, yeah, it's quite nice to have it be more zoomed in. You can capture things from farther away. And then the 48 one it's pretty solid. But now with Project Indigo, yeah, it just feels really, really like high quality because of computational photography when something is far away. Like, it doesn't look bad anymore. So I'm like, wow, this app is making me love the iPhone 16 Pro even more because it handles Project Indigo quite well. Unlike, I've seen the reviews and people say like, oh, their phone can't handle it. They can only take a few shots, and they're usually using something like the 14 or 13 or something. But for the 16 Pro, I can take I've never had an overheating issue actually. I usually just take like maybe, the most I've ever done was like 15 shots, at once. And then, I let it process and then I close the app. But this isn't about that app necessarily, but if you do want the best photos, I think that app will give you the best photos with the 16 Pro. I feel like that's relevant to mention. And I've been doing it a lot in the past month or so. And yeah, great results, honestly. I feel like I really, really like those photos. I can go ahead and show you guys some of them. But it feels like I almost don't need my camera anymore, to be honest. Like, the only times I will use my Sony a7 IV are for the purposes of filming something that's a bit more on like the pro side, the professional side, where I'm like, okay, highest image quality possible, and I want it to look as clean as possible too, with more depth of field, then of course that's going to be with my Sony camera instead of camera right here or my phone. But for the purposes of like everything else for YouTube related, I feel like I'm really happy with all the B-roll shots that I took whenever I was in Japan. Mostly when it came to like just pure B-roll, I always used Blackmagic camera app. And when it came to vlogging, I usually used the native camera app just because of the fact that I can zoom in and out really easily. And I don't really edit those vlogs, so I kind of don't really need it to be in the format where it's easily editable, but I feel like I should use the Blackmagic camera app a bit more because, yeah, even though it doesn't zoom in and out like that, sometimes for my vlogging stuff, I don't even zoom that much anyways, so. And it's much easier to work with in the editing if I ever do move towards that direction, which I probably should at a certain point, like actually do a bit more editing, or at least hire someone to help me with my editing to make my videos more digestible. But, you know, I'll edit this one for the sake of, you know, actually showcasing my B-roll footage and all that stuff. But after about a year, what I've learned, I guess, like the big takeaways are that yes, it can replace my vlogging camera, even though that vlogging camera was like really, really good. Sony ZV-E1, same sensor as Sony a7S III, same sensor as the FX3, which was used to film like an actual movie, like a legit movie. So that's, in my opinion, like it's obviously not gonna be as good because of the sensor, it's just smaller, so in low light, it's not gonna be as good. But for the purposes of just putting on YouTube and stuff like that, and just capturing moments in Japan and here, I find it more than passable. Like I am very happy with it, honestly. And even in some situations with low light, if you do it right, I still feel like it's pretty solid. You know, always film in Apple log if you want it to be highest quality possible. And then more stuff related to filming, it just is so much easier to carry around, so much easier to use accessories like this tripod as well, and the microphone as well. It's just everything is simplified, and I can put it in my backpack and not even need to worry about it. And you know, I don't have to carry an extra thing because it's my phone. In terms of it just being a phone, I'd say my experience with it hasn't changed too much. Like I feel like from iPhone 13 Pro to this one, it as a phone, it does feel lighter actually. It feels lighter than the 13 Pro in my opinion. And I have actually, I kind of say I haven't dropped this phone. Things have dropped this phone for me. So there's one time I put it on like a tripod, like something similar to this, but a little bit smaller. I bought this new one because on the old one it fell and I was like, damn. Luckily it fell on the sand at the beach and on a playground, so it wasn't too bad. Just very, very minor scratch on the side. And then it also fell upstairs on that tripod as well once. So the tripod dropped it, not me. And then there was another time I was on a loop scooter where I put it on the mount and I hit some bumpy road and it flew out of the scooter and started rolling on the side. And I was just like so shocked. I was like, holy shit. Immediately stopped, picked up my phone. I had a screen protector, so it was all cracked up. But when I took off the screen protector, underneath it, not a single scratch on the front. And on the side, unfortunately, there were a lot of scratches, but it's not too bad actually. It's like, actually I don't even notice it. From day-to-day use, I don't notice it at all. I don't put a case on my phone. It's just because I don't like having a case on my phone. So despite going through all of that, the phone is still in great condition with just some minor scratches on the side that I don't even notice. But usually that's not the case for what happens with my phone. I think it's just being unlucky because the iPhone 13 Pro, I never had a case on it and I never dropped it a single time. Primarily because I probably didn't put it on tripods that are not trustworthy. And also I never used the loop scooter. Yeah, because in my hands, I'm not very clumsy, so I don't drop things usually. But other than that, I don't really know what else there is to it. I'd say the action button for the top, I do use it quite a bit for the camera. That's like a feature that's special to the 16 Pro. I know the AI stuff that was supposed to be like launched with this phone never really materialized, so never got to test any of those things out. Even, I feel like Siri got worse actually, and I use Siri a lot less these days too. And then there's the thing with the action button where you can scan something and figure out what it is. There's no point in doing that most of the time, I feel. And you can also do that with ChatGPT. And I feel like they give you more like really solid information on what you would want to know anyways. So in terms of Apple Intelligence, there's really nothing much that's special for the 16 Pro in my opinion. Is that pretty much it in terms of what's special about the 16 Pro? I think so. Yeah, but overall, like I bought not the base version at 128 gigs. I bought 256 gigabytes, and I believe I got it for around $1,200. So what I used to buy this camera actually was I sold my Sony a6600, and then I also sold my iPhone 13 Pro, and that basically made up the money for this phone right here. So I think that was a worthy trade-off, because this can serve as an extra camera, like a camera B for my Sony a7 IV if I wanted it to be. Same with the a6600. Like that was a APS-C Sony camera that wasn't as good, but still a solid camera though. But this serves the same purpose as it, and my phone. Yeah, it's almost as if I combined those two things into this iPhone 16 Pro. So definitely worth it in my opinion, especially if you can do what I just said, which is like sell your phone or sell whatever camera B that you might have that isn't as good. I think it's a worthy purchase. But I think the 17 Pro is coming out soon as of now, but I obviously don't need it, but I have been keeping up with it. It looks kind of strange. Well, we'll see what happens with that phone. But I am excited to see what happens when eventually there's like a foldable phone or something, because it would be cool to have a selfie camera that is just higher quality, because I can't see myself right now. I don't know how the frame looks. Like if you can see right here, there's nothing that I can see when I'm, you know, in front of it. So I'm kind of just guessing at how the frame looks like. I'm not always in frame either because of that. Unless I use the widest angle, then for sure I'm in frame, but I still don't like fully know how good it looks. I have the mirror right now to be able to tell, but that's one issue with doing this, is that it's a little bit harder to frame yourself well. And there's no, I mean, if you use the Blackmagic camera app, there's like a way to monitor yourself if you're doing like shots far away from your phone or something. So that's something I've been trying to do more, but oftentimes I'm just too lazy and I just like guess. But yeah, I'll display B-roll throughout this video to show you guys like what it can capture. Because I feel like most of the time, or for people who are interested in this phone, most of you guys would probably just want it for like better camera capabilities and it being a good phone still. And in the department of like being a good phone, it's a solid phone. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to say, and yeah, I'm just gonna start repeating myself if I don't end this video. So this is my 1 year review of iPhone 16 Pro. It's a little early, 11.5 months, but yeah, it's basically a year. So let me know down below what you guys think, what kind of phone you have, or if you have the same phone, like what's your experience with the 16 Pro, and if you were happy with it or not. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.